So we are back for the third session of our tutorial videos for the Justice Creates and Justice Creates Kids course. In our last session we talked about the freedom, which is a key requirement to become creative. It has to do with the environment, the security and the encouragement we provide for the participants. But it also needs to be guarded by boundaries in the form of rules. If these rules are not followed, it becomes more dangerous for the students to express themselves. And that same level of protection is also required for this current topic that we're discussing today, which is meditation and reflection. The Justice Creates course has at least 3 segments, and I have only been able to create one of them yet, but there's 2 more. However, the first one is titled What It Is Like to Be Me. In other words, a focus on self-discovery. The drawings that come out of this course could be entitled Me-scapes, or landscapes of artwork around the theme of me. As you can see in the table of contents of the manual, the topics are different personal aspects about a person's past, present and future. So as we discover and explore those aspects of a person, we embark on a journey of getting to know ourselves better, the inner self of us and our lives. And that is essential in becoming a confident supporter of others. It says in the Bible that you should love your neighbor as yourself. But how can we do that if we don't have any love for ourselves? So that has to be the first step to engage with others and to love and appreciate others, is to actually appreciate yourself. So self-discovery builds up so that we can be more loving to others, even though some memories inside of ourselves might be painful. We do not want to neglect that pain, but use it and let God transform it in some sort of form to create a beauty out of ashes. Many of the sessions for that purpose incorporate a time of reflection, personal reflection about a particular aspect of ourselves. Sometimes we include music to help the students emotionally connect to the inner self and to the topic. For example, when we talk about the dreams for the future, we ask the participants to close their eyes and go back to that time, that memory that they had of when they had a dream of what they would one day become. So that helps them sometimes to go back to the past in order to see the future. This period of quiet meditation actually inspires imagination. We don't just rush into the artwork, but we go first to a point where they actually see a mental image of what they are about to create. And it can be a powerful time if the facilitator, that's you, is able to manage to keep them focused on themselves. And you have to try to enforce absolute silence, and especially with children, you need to make them close their eyes, because they will not do it otherwise. So that time period can be very long for smaller children. 30 seconds is probably the max you can do that. But adults, you can go several minutes of quiet meditation in the course. So we basically are following Albert Einstein's footsteps. He said here, imagination is more important than knowledge. For knowledge is limited to all we know and understand, while imagination embraces the entire world and all there will ever be to know and understand. So we need to have them form a mental image and project that onto their internal screen while they do the meditation. And they can then tap into this internal storehouse of images and draw out the images they are about to create. In the adult course, we also include journaling into this time of reflection, obviously for people that can write. Writing is a powerful thing because it enforces the power of a thought when you write it actually down. We are very clear that nothing that the participants write in their journals that we give them is ever been corrected or checked by us. We do collect the journals usually, but just for safekeeping, because we do not want to have them get lost, especially for the children's course. But we do not grade them. We do not check them. We do not read it. It's all for their private use, and they will be given those journals at the end of the course to keep at home and to continue writing it if they want to. So this will allow them to be free and write anything they want in any language they want. It can be misspelled. It can be not making any sense, but that's just for them. It's just for them to get into this process of writing and enforcing a thought through that. You should consider exploring another course that we have on this website, which is The Sacred Journey, Journaling for Healing, which Debbie, my wife, has written. But in the event that even in this Justice Creates course you have a very small group size and you can allow for some sharing and individual sharing from their reflection time, from their meditation and their journals, then you should guard that time with a certain set of rules, which I'm going to give you now, to make that a positive experience for everybody. So nobody is allowed to comment, not even you as a facilitator, to comment on what each person shared from their journals or from their writing times. You are simply to say, thank you for sharing that, without even giving praise or saying, wonderful how that sounds, how beautiful it is written. No, don't do that. Just say, thank you for sharing that. And that's sufficient. Of course, no other participant is allowed to comment or even non-verbally comment with, eyes or with elbows or with other forms of communication. That is not allowed. So the purpose is, of course, for participants to be in touch with themselves and not to create optimistic self-reflections or write down beautifully composed word compositions. So that's why we actually do not praise them, and that's why we don't really discuss what they wrote. Sometimes people struggle, though, especially with this part when they have to come up with a mental image because of trauma in their past. A certain life situation in their memory might be so strong that it overpowers everything in their internal screen, and they cannot actually come up with anything else. So what do we do in such a situation? We have found that for such a person on an individual basis, it can be helpful to have magazines at hand. And if you see that some people are really struggling, maybe you group them on one table and say, okay, here are also some images that you might want to go through and help you to come up with a picture if you haven't come up with anything yet. You have to see how you facilitate that. But that usually helps if they have something to look at, images. It may actually trigger their own memories through that picture. As it says, a picture speaks 1,000 words. So these pictures can serve as prompts for them. So the photo in the hand can trigger a picture in their own mind from their own life. I would like to illustrate how meditation has inspired people by letting a teenager speak with this quote that I have up here. And that's from her experience during the course, as she talks about a piece of artwork that she actually created. She said, I learned a lot on how to think. And when I close my eyes, I imagine things and then make something and think and see what comes out. I want to work with plants, and that is why I made this piece. These bright colors represent life and people and the sun shining. It brings more comfort when I am sad. So thank you for listening. This meditation and reflection part is a key part in this course. So I encourage you to really use that and utilize the prompts that we give in the manual. Thank you so much.